What I'd like to know, first of all, is how you became involved in Predator.
Well, I was with my agent Barry Bloom, who's now my manager, and at the time I was an athlete struggling to find Hollywood, and we used to drive around at lunchtime and meet different casting people, and I loved it because you always got plenty of lunches, which is enjoyable for a person of 250 pounds. And we walked in, he said at 2 o'clock, we're meeting a young lady named Jackie Birch who's casting the next Schwarzenegger film called Predator. And Barry said to me that you're perfect for the part of Blaine. And when we walked into Jackie's office, it was one of those, I guess, classic Hollywood tales of me speaking about 4 words, her looking me up and down twice and saying, let's go meet the executive producers. And off we went. She had found her Blaine, I think, and she knew it.
Now, finally, making the break, getting into acting, were you really nervous on the set the first couple of days?
No, I don't think so. You do an Arnold Schwarzenegger film and nervousness leaves quickly because Arnold is a terrific person and he loves to joke.
Now, I've heard, you were mentioning the Oprah Winfrey Show, and I saw that one, and there was a story about taunting Arnold off-screen, teaching him how to say, I do.
Well, Arnold, you know, as you know, Arnold, through his career, has had to do a lot of things with his dialogue, you know, because at first everyone told him, Arnold, Arnold, you'll never make it in Hollywood. You talk, you know, this German, you've got to lose that, you've got to change your name, you got to do all these things. So I felt that, you know, Arnold and I had become close, and Arnold was getting ready to do the biggest thing anybody does in their life, and that's get married. So I felt I needed to help Arnold. He needed my experience on this, and so Arnold has never done any stage acting where you have to project, and I knew that when Arnold got to Hyannisport, he would have to project this to the massive amount of people that were there. So I started training him on how to say I do from the diaphragm. So that I knew Arnold, when he got there, would be totally confident in doing that, and so it got to be where I would tease him about it, you know, telling him this is the biggest line you'll ever say in your life, Arnold. I said, forget about all the movies you've done and all of them that you will do. This is the biggest one. And so when he would get to a crucial part of dialogue on the film, I would just sit in the background, and if I felt the tension needed to be broken, I would just mumble, I do. And that was it for Arnold then. He would start laughing, and we would have to retake the shot. And I suppose after about 4 or 5 of them, the upper echelon started getting mad at me, I would imagine, you know, slowing down their schedule.
Was there a lot of competition on the set? I mean, physically, between you and Arnold, you're both healthy guys. Did you try to...
I don't think there was competition. I think it was more like training partners, really. You know, of course, there's always competition in training or any type of athletics, whether you're playing a friend in tennis or playing golf with a friend, you're going to compete with them. And the same holds true with weightlifting. And don't just count me and Arnold. The other bodies in this film are very good too. Sonny Landham, Carl Weathers has a fantastic build. All of us were training. It was like there were people down there that were training that had never trained before in their life that worked on the set because it just all rubbed off, you know, so everyone was training. It was a great atmosphere.
Now, in the film, your character Blaine carries around this huge gun.
A minigun.
That looks like it must have weighed an
75
awful lot.
pounds.
How did you carry that around?
Now you know why I lift weights every day. No, I carried it around, just, we made an attachment underneath with an M60 machine gun hand mount, and they built a carriage that I could snap into, you know, with my web gear, and I carried it around very carefully, you know, because that was very hard, because down in the terrain we were in Puerto Vallarta, we were way out in the jungle and nothing was level. And all it takes when you've got something like that in your hands is just a tilt one way or the other, and you're off to see the chiropractor for an adjustment. And in fact, at one point, we almost had to fly Franco Columbo down to adjust me because I did hurt my back down there on 2 different occasions carrying that weapon.
Now, you mentioned being in the jungle. Was this, you're a Vietnam vet, right?
Right.
Was this hard being back in this, although it wasn't Vietnam, it's like a very, you know, tropical rainforest
sure.
jungle? Was there kind of an
Was it
adjustment?
hard?
Yeah.
It was exciting. I think the first time that we went out to do some rehearsing, because we spent about 8 days down there before cameras even turned on, of training and teaching the actors different tactical moves that a small efficient combat unit would do. So in a way, I kind of acted as, although I don't receive credit for it, and I don't care, but I acted kind of as a kind of advisor at times. And I know there were times, I think, that Joel Silver and John McTiernan, the producer and director, probably got tired of me, because many times I would see things and I'd go, wait a minute, you guys, that ain't right. You know, that's the way it wouldn't be done. You would not do it that way. But I had to learn too that when you do a film, you can't do it totally the way it really would be, because you're concerned about camera angles. Like, for instance, patrolling in the daytime, you would definitely have farther intervals between people. But being that it's Hollywood and you're looking for a shot, you can't do that. You have to get closer because they may want 2 or 3 people in the shot and things like that. So I think the key is to find that happy medium.
Okay.
You know.
Quickly, we're getting the time cue here, but I want to know what you're going to be doing in the future.
Well, in the future, Arnold and I have already completed a second film together called The Running Man, which should be out in the fall. Arnold and I are already talking about a third film together, which will be next spring. And so I believe I'll be hanging out with Arnold for a while. It looks like it. But eventually, I'm sure, and I'm hoping through Predator, that people will take me very seriously now as an actor, and not just as another athlete who made the transition and flopped or whatever. You know, I like to call myself now an artistic jock.
Okay, well,
I
good
think
luck
that's
in
a good
Hollywood.
name. Thank you.